Hi, I'm Melissa. Welcome to Gentle Yoga and Wellness. Each week, I post 3 new yoga videos, so please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Today, I have a gentle yoga class for seniors and beginners. Throughout the class today, I'll show different levels of modification. So please listen to your body and choose the level that's right for you. All right, let's get started. You can sit cross-legged, just like I'm sitting right now. If you have a blanket or towel, you can grab your blanket, place the blanket underneath you, and sit right on the edge of the blanket. That will help you to elevate your hips, and it'll help you to lift your chest and sit up tall. If you're having tightness in your inner thighs and hips and your knees are coming up here, if it's difficult for you to sit cross-legged, if you have some yoga blocks, you can grab those blocks and place them underneath your legs. So it's just supporting your legs and helping you to sit a little more comfortably in this cross-legged or Sukhasana pose. All right, once you're situated, lift your arms up to the sky. Face your hands behind you so that the palms of your hands are facing back. Good, let's take an inhale, reach up, and then as you exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together and bring your arms back. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, lower your hands, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good, let's flow here with our breath. Deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. Nice job. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Start to think about slowing down your breath. Exhale, let it go. Good. Send your breath all the way down to your belly. So you're expanding your belly as you inhale, and then deflating your belly like a balloon as you exhale. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in. And then exhale, slowly release. Good. Take your hands onto your thighs. We'll do a few shoulder shrugs here. So begin to take your shoulders up, back, and down. And do that again. Take your shoulders up, back, and down. Just continue this movement with the shoulders. Think about releasing and relaxing any tightness, any tension that you're holding in the shoulders today. Let's do that 2 more times. Take the shoulders up, back, and down. And once more, just release and relax the shoulders. Great. Sit up tall and take your gaze over your right shoulder. So slowly begin to rotate your head and take your gaze over your right shoulder. Once you're ready, bring your gaze over your left shoulder. We'll do that once more each side. Bring your gaze over your right shoulder. And then slowly begin to rotate your head and bring your gaze over your left shoulder. Great. You can return to center. You're using your blocks underneath your legs. You can take those blocks and just set them off to the side. We're going to come up to tabletop position. So begin to thread your legs behind you. Come up onto your hands and your knees. If you have any sensitivity in your knees, you're welcome to use a blanket or towel underneath your knees for a little bit of extra padding. All right, once you're in tabletop position, I want you to take a moment. Make sure your knees are stacked under your hips. Make sure your wrists are stacked under your shoulders. You have a nice, firm base supporting your body. Take your gaze in front of you and spread your fingertips out wide. On your next inhale, begin to slowly lift your chest, take your gaze up. As you exhale, round your back and take your gaze inward. Inhale, lift through the chest, gently squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then exhale, round through the belly, take your gaze inward. Inhale, rise for cow pose. And then exhale, release for cat pose. Do that a couple more times. Deep breath in. And then exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale, let it go. Nice job. You can come back to a neutral spine, so come back to tabletop position. And from here, we're gonna rise up onto our knees. So sit up tall on your knees. Good. We'll take our right leg in front of us and come to a low lunge. So bring your right leg in front of you and just come into your low lunge pose. In low lunge, you want your knees stacked right over your front ankle. Roll your shoulders back and lift through your chest. Take your gaze in front of you. Take your hands to prayer center. Just find your balance for a moment here. You're welcome to stay right here. This is level 1. Level 2 adds a little bit more challenge. If you'd like to come into level 2, begin to hinge forward from the hips. And then link your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Come into a prayer twist. Good. As you inhale, think about lengthening through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, come a little bit deeper into your twist. We'll pause here for a moment. Just continue to breathe into this pose. On your next inhale, slowly unwind and return to center. You can relax your arms down to the sides of your body and just come back to tabletop position. Come back to all fours. If you're using a blanket, you can just set that off to the side for a moment. We'll use it a little bit later. From tabletop position, we're going to come into high plank pose. I'll show you a couple options for high plank. The first one is to keep your knees on the ground. So you can cross your ankles and then start to engage your abdominals. So you're squeezing your abdominals. Keep your arms straight. Take your gaze down to the earth. Good. So you're working the core here. This is level 1. You're welcome to stay right here. If you want to add one more layer of challenge, you can straighten your legs. So curl your toes under, lift your hips. Good. Again, activate through the core. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and then gently push your head back like you're pushing into a headboard. We'll breathe here for a moment. You may feel a little bit of heat in your body. Take one more inhale, and then as you exhale, lower your knees down to the mat if they're not there already. Slowly lower yourself all the way down onto your stomach so that you're lying on your stomach. From here, squeeze your legs together. So interlace your thighs, interlace your calves and your feet. Take your hands behind you and interlace your hands behind your back. We're coming to locust pose. Level 1 will lift just the upper body off the mat. So squeeze the shoulder blades, take the gaze down to the earth. Level 2, you can add the lower body as well. Lift both of your legs off the mat and engage your glutes. Just hold here for a moment. Good, you should be very active in your back body, squeezing shoulder blades, the back, and the glutes. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, push yourself back to child's pose. Take your knees wide out to the sides of the mat. Reach your fingertips to the top of the mat and relax your forehead down to the earth. If your forehead is not coming all the way down to the earth, you can use a block on the lowest setting. And then just place your forehead on top of the block. Add some gentle movement in your child's pose. Sway your head from side to side. Gently rock your hips. Once you feel complete, find stillness and begin to push yourself up to tabletop position. If you're using a block, set that off to the side. And we're going to face the long end of the mat. So you can just rotate your body to face the long end of the mat. From here, bend both of your knees. Take your feet in front of you. We'll come to a seated figure 4 stretch. Rotate your hands so that your fingertips are facing behind you. Extend your legs a little bit. Good. Take your right ankle on top of your left thigh, and then begin to bring your left leg a little bit closer. If you want a deeper stretch, you can always bring it even closer and scoot your hips closer to your feet. That'll deepen the stretch. You should feel this one in your hips and inner thighs. Once you're in position, option to add some movement here. So you can gently sway your legs from side to side in the seated figure 4. Good. Keep breathing into this movement. We'll rock once more from side to side. And then once you're ready, pause here, release your ankle, take both of your feet back down. Take your feet a little bit wider than they are now and gently windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So we're just releasing from that stretch. Good. Once more, just allow your knees to fall from side to side. And then bring your knees back to center. We're gonna do that figure 4 stretch now on the opposite side. So you can move the feet a little bit further out. That'll make it a little easier to get into this pose. And then this time, take your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Once you have your ankle placed, you can start to move your right foot in a little bit closer to deepen the stretch. You can also scoot your hips closer if that feels good to you. Once you're in position, option to add some movement here. So just as we did on the opposite side, you can gently sway your legs from side to side. And in this pose, you should feel an opening in the inner thigh and the hips. Think about sending your breath and your awareness to the hips. And just allow the hips to relax. Good. Do it one more from side to side. And then once you're ready, just pause here. You can release your ankle, take your feet back down to the ground, and then take your feet a little bit wider. Once again, we'll windshield wiper our knees from side to side. Just some gentle movement to release from that stretch. Good, let's take our knees once more from side to side. And then once you're ready, go ahead and pause in the center. We'll come to tabletop position. So you can thread your knees behind you and come back to tabletop position. This time you're facing the short end of your mat. Again, if you were using a blanket before, you're welcome to use that blanket to pad your knees, especially if you're on hardwood floor. It can be helpful to give your knees a little bit of padding. In tabletop position, take a moment and make sure your knees are stacked under your hips, and then make sure your wrists are stacked under your shoulders. We'll do a few cat-cows here. So you can take your gaze in front of you, and then on your next inhale, begin to lift your chest and take your gaze slightly up. As you exhale, round the back and take your gaze inward. Inhale, rise, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then exhale, hollow out the belly. Deep breath in, come to cow pose. And then exhale, release for cat pose. Do that a couple more times. Deep breath in. And then exhale, let it go. Inhale and rise. And then exhale, contract. And return to tabletop position. Come back to that neutral spine. And then very slowly start to rise up onto your knees. So you're sitting tall on your knees, just like I'm sitting right now. Good. Roll your shoulder blades back and then lift through your chest. From here, we're going to come into that low lunge, just like we did on the opposite side. So this time, take your left leg in front of you. Bend your left knee. Take a moment, find your balance here. Once you have your balance, you can take your hands to prayer center. You're welcome to stay right here. This is level 1, just balancing in this low lunge. Or if you'd like to add that prayer twist, on your next inhale, start to hinge forward with the hips. Bring your chest forward and then link your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh. So we're coming into that prayer twist. As you inhale, I want you to think about lengthening through the crown of your head. So grow tall. And then as you exhale, you can come a little bit deeper into your twist. We'll pause here for a moment and just breathe. Good. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, release. You can relax your arms down to the sides of your body. From here, if you're using your blanket, you can set your blanket off to the side. And we're going to come into plank pose. So for plank pose, a couple options, just like I showed you before. You can come on your knees, lower your hips, and then keep your arms straight. Take your gaze down to the earth. You're engaging through your core, through your abdominals. You're welcome to stay right here. If you'd like to add a little bit more challenge, curl your toes under and then straighten your legs, lift your hips. Squeeze your shoulder blades back and gently push your head back like you're pushing into a headboard. Continue to breathe. You might feel a little bit of heat in the body. We're starting to get warm in this pose. Take one more inhale, and then as you exhale, lower both of your knees down to the ground, and then slowly lower yourself onto your stomach. We're going to come into locust pose. So start to squeeze your legs together. Squeeze your feet and your calves, squeeze your thighs, interlace your legs together. Take your hands behind you and interlace your fingers. You can start by lifting through the chest. Keep your gaze down to the earth. If you'd like to add one more layer of challenge, you can lift your legs off the mat as well. Locust pose, think about squeezing your shoulder blades together. Squeeze through your back. Squeeze your glutes and your legs. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, push yourself back to child's pose. Take your knees wide out to the sides of the mat. Reach your fingertips to the top of the mat and relax your forehead down. Again, if you like to use a block, if your head is not coming down to the mat, take your block on your lowest setting and then just take your forehead to the block. Add some gentle movement in your child's pose. You can sway your head from side to side and gently rock your hips. Once you feel complete, slowly begin to rise. You're using a block, set it off to the side for a moment, and thread your legs in front of you. So come into staff pose. You can take your heels all the way to the short end of your mat. Reach your hands in front of you and sit up tall. From here, very slowly begin to lower yourself down onto your mat and come into a lying position. Once you're lying on your back, hug both of your knees into your chest. Gently begin to rock from side to side. Give yourself a little back massage. You can move from side to side, or you can move in a figure 8 pattern if that feels good in your body. Just do what feels right for you today. Once you feel complete, pause here. Release your hands from your legs. Lift your feet up towards the ceiling so that the soles of your feet are coming up to the sky. Bend your knees deeply for happy baby pose. You can grab onto your calves and gently pull your legs into your chest. Grab onto your ankles, or you can reach onto the inside soles of your feet and pull your feet closer to your chest. You should feel a gentle opening in your hips and inner thighs. And if you'd like, you can gently rock from side to side. Find stillness here. Release your hands from your feet. Bring your feet down to your mat and keep your knees bent. Come to bridge pose. For bridge pose, place the palms of your hands close to your hips. Begin to engage your glutes to lift your hips off of the mat. You're welcome to stay right here, or if you'd like to deepen this pose, interlace your hands underneath you. Gently rock your shoulder blades underneath your body and actively engage your glutes to lift your hips off of the mat. Gently squeeze your inner thighs together. Take your gaze up to the ceiling. Continue to breathe here in this bridge pose. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, release your fingers and your hands. Gently lower your hips down to the mat. From here, extend your legs out long, point through your toes. Reach both of your hands overhead and come into stick pose. So we're in a full body stretch. And think about reaching through your fingertips, reaching through your feet. Feel your entire body grow long and tall. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, release. Begin to rock onto one side. Can you use your hand to push yourself up and come to a seated position? Take your hands to prayer center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope to see you soon. Namaste.